अनिष्टमिष्टं मिश्रं च त्रिविधं कर्मणः फलम् भवत्यत्यागिनां प्रीत्य न तु सन्न्यासिनां क्वचित्.
The threefold fruit of action, desirable, undesirable, and mixed, accrues to atyagis, non-relinquishers, but never to sannyasis, renouncers. So he uses two words here, atyagi and sannyasi, and what is in between is tyagi. So there are three states of being. Number one, atyagi, non-renouncer. The common person, all of us who don't know this philosophy, we haven't learnt it, we haven't implemented it. How do we act in life? We act with tremendous attachment, desire for the action, and we are overwhelmed by anxiety for the fruit. And this dissipates us. This takes away all the energy from us. And therefore we come back after work and say, I'm tired. Have you ever asked yourself, what have I done that I should feel tired? There's no great activity you've done. All of us, most of us, lead sedentary lives. So what is it that makes you tired? When you ask yourself that and compare yourself with a child, the younger the child, the more active, the more energetic the child is. The younger the child, the more tired the babysitter feels. So every child needs at least 2 or 3 babysitters to take turns. Where does that child get this tremendous energy from? Why is it that I feel tired? Ask yourself that. It's because the child has no attachment from the past, the child has no anxiety for the fruit, and therefore the child is full of energy and cheer and dynamism. You and I are burdened with this desire and anxiety for the fruit, and therefore you're tired, you're cheerless, you're bored and depressed. So, what is the next step? The next step is from atyagi, at least become a tyagi. So the tyagi state is where you have a desire, you're full of desires. But at least you give up the fruit. As we saw yesterday, there are various ways of giving up the fruit. One, the devotional attitude is what is said in the Lord's Prayer, is thy will be done. You work for a particular cause, a higher cause. You work dedicatedly, sincerely. You put in all your efforts. But the result is not in your hands. What will happen is His will, thy will. And whatever be the result of your sincere, honest, hard work, efforts that you put in, you accept. Accept it as prasad from the Lord. That is why prasad is given. And if you work in this spirit of surrender, the prasad will always be sweet, successful. But even if it is unsuccessful, you are satisfied because you find your satisfaction in the very performance of the action. Then you're free from the result. Because the result is in His hands. And therefore it is His wish. If He chooses it to be successful, fine. If He chooses it to be a failure, that's also fine. The intellectual approach is to understand that the result is the resultant of all your past actions put together. The past is over and done with, number one. Number two, you don't even know it. You only know the present. So you know that however negative the past may be, if I continuously perform positive present actions, then I will be able to change the fruit. So for the moment the fruit may be negative, it's okay. Whichever way you look at it, the devotional way or the intellectual way, you can work towards giving up the fruit. And as you consistently act, giving up the fruit, you get to the state of sannyasi, where you are free from both desire and anxiety for the fruit. Such a person comes up with brilliant action, productive action, potent action. This is what he's saying. Now what he's saying is, when you perform desire-ridden activities, which is either the atyagi or the tyagi, the result of that may be ishtam, pleasant, anishtam, unpleasant, mishram, mixed. So how does it happen? Ishtam comes when you perform an action backed by positive desires, good desires. The desire to do good to humanity, the desire to serve, the desire to contribute is a good desire. But still, when you perform action merely because you have the desire, it will result in further desires being created in you. So that is ishtam. Anishtam is an action backed by bad or selfish desires. So the result of that is unpleasant. And mishram, which is what all of us do. Some good, some bad. So our life is some joy, some sorrow. It's a mixture of joy and sorrow. All this comes to the atyagi, but never to the renouncer, never to the sannyasi. So an atyagi functions with desires and is anxious for the fruit. A tyagi also functions with desires, but he is free from the anxiety for the fruit. A sannyasi has neither desire nor anxiety for the fruit. He totally dedicates himself to a higher cause. Verses 13 and 14 are taken together.